jobs.
Well, he needs to be above the snow.
Okay, but I did figure out, so this 775 is the height because for some reason they decided to go from that point to that point for the 650 thou, but the whole plate is 125 thou thick. So we add that to the 650 and it's 775.
Okay.
So, but this distance is correct. So from the end to the beginning of the bend is 735. So as long as you follow these directions and get everything set up the way that needs to be, you should come out good. And you always want to overbend it by a few degrees. Because as it cools off, the bend will relax and come back out.
Now, are you doing it in one bend or are you doing it in multiple bends?
It all depends on how it feels. A lot of times I'll do it in one bend. At least for this bend, this one, it's probably going to be about 2 or 3 bends.
Okay.
You're probably going to have to heat it up a couple times in order to get it to bend exactly where you want it to bend. So,
We're just setting up.
you always want the corner of your bending fixture to come up against your pin.
Okay.
This is your pin. So you always want to get your thickness. You want to be able to move it around.
Okay.
Snug that up. Get it tight. And then we will grab our calipers. And we're going to do the 735. We'll find that 735.
Set the caliper to 735.
We'll find our stop. So, we'll put it up against the corner. That's why you always want to find the center.
Yeah.
Find the corner. And we are going to get this piece. So, this is notched out right here. So that will actually get in here.
Okay, so it touches off on
It almost touches.
Okay.
Not quite. There's just the slightest bit of a gap.
Okay.
So we'll hold that there. You might have to get a buddy to hold it down while you clamp it. So get it clamped. Always double check. Make sure you're exactly where you want to be.
Okay.
Now, you'll want to find out where. So usually whenever these get wired, there's always going to be this little notch there.
Yeah.
That's usually where, that's about where you want to start bending.
Okay.
So that's where you want to heat it up.
Okay.
Keep that in the middle of your heat. Helps if you turn on the power. Heat it up. I like to flip it so they can get consistent heat. Start your bend.
Starting the bend.
This is going to be 38 degrees, so we're going to heat it up again. And you don't want it to pull away. Don't want it to pull away from the stop.
Right.
So if it starts to pull away, stop the bend, come back, heat it up further out. Because it's going to bend the easiest where it's the hottest.
Makes sense.
Not quite there yet.
I'm getting there though.
Now we want to overbend. But like I said, as it cools off, that bend is going to come back out. Always push in and bend at the same time.
Okay. Push in and bend. And the overbend is because the material's going to relax, right?
Right. So as that cools off on its own in the bend, that angle is going to come back out.
Okay.
Now, while that's cooling off, I'll get set up for the other bend. It really doesn't matter which way you do this. Actually, I don't need to take that all the way.
Well, pretty much so you want to do all the bends to one side
Right.
and then do the other bend
But
to the other side.
just for this example, I'm going
Yeah.
to do one. So then this one is a tighter bend, so we're going to use a smaller pin. We're going to use this block because we have to keep this whole thing is going to be off the table. So we need to use a taller block so it actually has something to butt up against. Because if you try to use this piece, that's not going to be where you want it to be. So let's see here. We're going to follow these. We're going to go to 1 inch 200 thou. Bring that to the center. See where you're at with your part. We'll bring it in just a little bit more. Keep it in the center of that pin.
Okay.
Snug that back up. And then this one, should be right about there.
So it's not actually buttered. Is it? Yeah, it is. It is buttered up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's buttered up. I wish it was that thick,
Yeah.
but you can only get so lucky.
You need a buddy again.
Yep. Hold that down. It'd be easier if we actually had pictures, but this is what we got for now.
This is what we've always had, Rob.
Alright, double check. We're good. Alright, so this one is going to be basically right behind that leaf. If you look in here. Go around that other side. It's right on the other side of that hole.
So this pin is right on the other side of that hole.
Okay. So that's where you want to put all your heat. It's right there at the edge.
So is this going to be a bend or is this going to be a curve?
It's going to be a bend.
And again, you're pushing while you're bending.
Right. This one's going to be a little more difficult.
You're pushing into that while you turn on the post.
The harder the angle, the more difficult it is to hold it in.
Yeah, because it really wants to pinch out.
This is the one that you really got to watch out for because this one really, the angle really likes to come out of this one as it cools. I don't know how many times I've had to sit back here and rebend stuff because it just didn't want to stay tight enough.
So overbend again.
Yep, overbend by a couple degrees. And as they cool, and then once they cool off, then we can go ahead and check the height because you have to go from, so that's what I like to use this for. Because you can take this nice and solid and flat, and that way you can measure it from here down to the bottom.
Okay.
So all you gotta do is check your measurements after they cool off. You're good.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Then you got plus minus 2 degrees. So if you have to overbend or take some of the bend out, usually it'll fall into your criteria.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Yep.